This is another video about fine-tuning your crochet. I have a few others. And these are all about subjects where there's no right or wrong, but it's always, it depends. It's more for a bit more advanced crocheters who have noticed that some of the things that you are told to always do may not work for you, or they may not work in certain projects. And the slip knot is one of those. And what we are looking at can be applied to any ways you are doing the slip knot. There are several different ones. So we are first looking at when I would think it's better not to tighten your slip knot but leave it as loose loop. And then at the end I'll mention a different way of using the loose slip knot. In general, as you know, we are expected to make a tight slip knot like this here. So I'm not going into the situations where that would be used, because it could be used anytime, and I also use it often enough. But there are some situations where I would not, where it's far better to leave the slip knot open. In looking through some of my past videos, I realized that there are quite a number of times where I have used the loose slip knot without in any way explaining why. Just done it like that. And occasionally people have actually asked about that. So first there's a couple of very short clips that show two of the situations where I would not tighten the slip knot. And the first one is when the yarn is very chunky. When I'm using very chunky yarn, I'm not doing a full slip knot. I just start the slip knot, but I'm not tightening it. I leave it like this and I count this as the first stitch. I just think that's better, because that way you don't get a big hard knot there. And the other one is when you are making a chain to close it into a circle. You get a far smoother join when you don't have the knot of a slip knot, like in this here one. With something as small as this, I don't actually use a normal slip knot at all. Instead, I make a stitch that I leave loose like that there. Can you see? Just because the slip knot creates a sort of a hard spot, and then when you close a tiny ring, then it's not as tidy as when you do it like this here. We'll see. And I'm tightening the bit now and then more afterwards. So into that and a slip stitch into a ring. When you do it this way, it's less noticeable where your chain started. And all this of course works exactly the same if you do the slip knot separately in your fingers and then put it to the hook. I'm not very good at that. I haven't done it this way for decades, but I mean, you see the point. So either you continue crocheting directly from there, or you tighten it. In general, the chunkier the yarn is, the less likely I am to tighten the slip knot. Another situation for a loose slip knot is if you work like me, that when you need a long chain for something bigger, like a shawl or baby blanket or something, and you are going to use a certain stitch pattern, and you're just making an approximate length of chain that's a bit too long so that you can easily pick out the extra stitches. So then it's certainly easier to undo them if there's no knot here. And then the different way of using the loose slip knot for magic ring. This is not something on my own channel, but please go and see this other channel by my friend. She's showing that. I'm linking that video in the description. And here's a playlist to my other fine-tune your crochet videos. So you can check that as well, and I hope that you find other useful tips on that. Till next time.